I know you're stuffing your face, but I just want to talk about how the building stage of a project is always the hardest part, right?
Yeah, it is, but guess what? The fun part is all going somewhere together. Knowing that we're meeting somebody new who's in a similar situation to us. I'm really excited to meet him actually, because what he's doing is like the right move for the early years sector. So if you move to a new area, you don't know where to send your child, you can type in like nurseries near me. What he's done is like signed up nurseries so you can get the availability of them, how much it is, like you can even like see like inside the nurseries and make a really informed decision. So I really love what he's doing. It's like a new concept. I love entrepreneurs and I love where he's making a change, and I can't wait to see him. It's a shame that he's in Edinburgh and we're about 6 hours away right now, but this is the fun part of being an entrepreneur ourselves. Hey Scotland, we're here! Nursery Jackpot, we've arrived!
I've got your phone, that I don't know which one to look at, but right now we're at Nursery Jackpot and we've arrived in Edinburgh to do a hard launch, so everybody here knows who we are, and I'm looking so much forward to it. We might even meet Ubadjaria's Doubtfire at your service, because she would like to know what nursery we could send those wee bunny children to.
We're in Scotland!
Nursery Jackpot in Scotland! Look at that.
Mind your head.
Oh my god, that is amazing. Shut up. Oh, look at those chairs. We've never seen anything before. We're loving it outside.
Today's good mood is sponsored by coffee.
Oh, I like that.
What are you trying? Show us.
Some black truffle crisps.
Okay.
Do you want to win free childcare? I do! I like it!
What would you do if that was one less bill to worry about every single month? What would you do with that extra cash? Go on holiday, have a weekend away, or just treat yourself to a spa? Let us know what you would do.
Hi, I'm Nicola from the Nursery Jackpot, and every single month in our prize draw competition, we give away up to £15,000, a whole year's free childcare. Nikita's just won, Emma's just won. Could you be our next winner? Click on the link below, get your tickets, and I'll see you soon. Oh, he's there, down there, look. Isn't he? Yeah! We're coming here.
We found him.
Found him.
Thanks very much.
Hi there, lovely to meet you.
Zach.
Hi there, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? We're just through on the left there.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
How cool is this?
People just think of it as like a sector that's kind of there. It doesn't get spoken about like it should as part of our economy and part of our communities. The follow-on effect of people getting back into work and all these sorts of things.
Some people weren't going back into work. What did they say to you?
They didn't think that it was viable to
Yeah.
go back to work.
So my background, I had a corporate career, nothing to do with early years.
What did I say? Yes, £100 to me.
Certainly nothing to do with tech either. So yeah, my wife and I, we had our daughter in the summer of 2023. As part of that, I was tasked with finding a nursery for her here in Edinburgh. So, went through that process and found that process to be pretty fragmented, not particularly digitalised. Some nurseries have really good websites, some don't. Facebook as a website is still a bit of a culture in the sector. That went into then, communicating with nurseries, waiting list processes, booking tours. And it just wasn't at a level of digitalisation that I think my generation expect from an online process. As a first-time parent, you might have siblings that have children, but you don't really take any care around childcare before you have children. Why would you? You know, the next restaurant or the next holiday was most important. And then all of a sudden, this beautiful little girl comes into our life and we need to find a nursery for her and educate ourselves around fees, around opening times, you know, around all the different aspects of a nursery. So that education piece, again, was quite fragmented. You know, tabs open with government websites. You know, let's be honest, most government website pages are pretty poor.
So we really liked this because everything's in one place.
Yeah, exactly, and like presented in a way that we would expect, as interactive as possible, all those sorts of things. And then as we kind of go into that search process of trying to extract information about nurseries, because everyone has different websites and there's not really a one-stop shop, it makes it quite difficult to compare apples with apples because you don't really know. And communicating around inquiring and tours, very much kind of email, phone, all that sorts of thing. You know, we went through the waiting list process and that was fine, and we ended up getting into the nursery that we wanted, which was fortunate, and we've had a very positive experience of care. So we love the nursery, our daughter loves the nursery, so that element's been really positive, and I was left thinking, why has pre-enrolment been left behind? Why is that still so fragmented? And that was really the basis of what we wanted to create. We wanted to create a platform that elevates the parents' journey and experience coming in to your nursery, because their journey starts when they're thinking about starting a family or when they're, you know, pregnant, not the first day. So, you know, we want to elevate that experience and bring it up to a digitalization that not just the now but the next generation would expect. But most importantly as well for the nurseries, you know, what we want to be able to do is elevate the digital presence for you, but also provide tools that help you become more efficient in pre-enrolment, save you time in pre-enrolment. The ping pong back and forth, organising the time for the tour is a real drag on time. Settling in sessions, just keeping in contact with parents during the waiting list process, which could be 6, 9, 12 months. So there was quite a lot of, we felt, inefficiencies and an opportunity for time and cost saving. So the platform really is then built around those two aspects, improving an experience for parents and, you know, saving time and money for nurseries.
So what does Nuuri stand?
Oh yeah, we started that. Yeah. As far as I was aware, it wasn't a word. We felt that it had connotations of nurturing, of nursery.
You did say that, didn't you?
From a kind of SEO perspective, you know, we didn't want something with nursery in the name because then you're competing for a lot of space on Google and all that sort of stuff. My daughter's called Nelly, so I actually found out later from a friend I went to school with, is from UAE, and then a few of our Arabic customers said that Shining Light, is a boy's name, I think, but that was by accident. I didn't mean that. I was on a call with a nursery group this morning. I think she put it like really well. If you own a nursery, you're getting older every year. Your parent that's coming in is staying the same age. They're staying 25 to 35. And if you think about the next 5 to 10 years of parents that are going to come through that conveyor belt, brought up on smartphones, brought up on Snapchat, TikTok, all that sort of stuff, AI, I mean, you know, the way in which consumers are searching for things online is changing. Technology is never going to take over this sector. There's a very personal touch, importance to this sector. Technology is never going to take over caring for children. It never should. But there's lots of elements of technology that can make life a lot easier. What they're good at is caring for children. And sometimes some of the business admin elements that wrap around that as a necessity are maybe not done to their full potential, and that's where technology can really help. But we always ensure with everything that we do that sort of physical touch point with a manager and a parent is kept, because I think that's really important for the parents as well. You know, you can go, you go all the way through using Nuuri to find your nursery, booking a tour, but you know, as an example, virtual tours are never going to replace physical tours, but they can help. I think it's a balance with this sector in technology. It's a balance that we're certainly very conscious of with everything we do, that we're trying to change a culture, you know, in a sector. So, you know, you've got to be conscious of that, and in the way that you sort of develop tools, I guess. I guess the first thing we wanted to do was validate, our experience as parents. So is this an experience that was biased to Edinburgh or Scotland or a certain, type of parent? So we did a survey last year with about 1,500 parents across the UK. It became very clear very, very quickly that this poor experience was happening right across the country. So that was great, and to validate that was really important. And then really it was about from there, well, what is causing the poor experience? What's the root cause? What are the inefficiencies for nurseries, specifically in pre-enrolment? We started with a sort of pilot of 5 nurseries that started working with us, and really just research, just asking them questions. Tell us how a parent finds your nursery. Tell us what happens when they inquire, when they book a tour. How do you manage your waiting list? Tell us everything that happens prior to a first day, and let's see what we can identify as problem areas for you, and then what solutions can we put in place. So yeah, that validation kind of process, I guess, it took quite a long time, it felt, but it was really, really important to get right, because I think if we hadn't done the latter and we just said, oh, parents are having this really poor experience, I think it would be much more difficult to launch something like this. And I think as well, we wouldn't be potentially any different to another listing platform. And I think what really does make us different is that we understand the pain points of the nursery, and we have tools to help them manage those. And it's almost like having a little mini CRM or nursery software, but really specifically for pre-enrolment. There's definitely differences between the sectors between Scotland, England and Wales. And learning them and adapting the profiles as well to them is definitely been a kind of learning journey for us.
That's exactly the way the Nursery Jackpot is.
Yeah, the systems are, and I think the sector is so politically linked, and sometimes that can cause friction, and
another topic.
Yeah, it is another topic not to get into today, but politics vary in varying locations, and therefore that has an effect on the early years industry in those varying locations. And we definitely see that, we've got customers all the way up and down Scotland, England and Wales, and there's definitely a difference in relationships with local councils throughout the UK. It is just a very politically linked sector, so as a private business owner, you do have to have a relationship with, with the local council and therefore the government and policies and all these sorts of things.
I mean, the lady doing 3 days, it's like £1,200 wasn't it? But it's not that much of an income charge. Yeah. But you can charge a little bit less because the hourly rate is different. So, there's no one size fits all, really.
No, we definitely see that. We're collecting a huge amount of cost data and fee data. It's really interesting, and when you go on to our cost calculator page, you can put a postcode in and it'll give you, an average for the area. Let's say we do London, tell you the average cost in the area is £96 a day. You can put what date your child, how old they're going to be and how many days, and if you're eligible for funded hours, it tells you a bit about what funded hours is all about, what tax-free childcare is all about, and then it gives you a split per week, per month, per year. If you take the funding away, you can see that changing. So this is really important, I think, because at a really early stage, you might not know the exact price of the nurseries that you're going to inquire about. So you just need an indication. It's going to be around £96 a day, and it gives you a bit of a breakdown as to how we've worked it out. We factor in top-ups and consumables, which again is really difficult because every nursery does it differently. We've had to kind of average it out. It gives parents a really early indication. And, in terms of photography and videography and all those sorts of things, one of the aspects that we heard a lot from parents was that they'd go onto a nursery's website and there'd be a zoomed in photo of a kid eating lunch, looking really happy. Now that is great that the kid is happy and you can see them eating their cheese sandwich, but that photo could be anywhere. It doesn't tell the parent anything about the space. So our digital media service that we have called Nuuri Studio, which is all your photography and videography, is very much focused around the setting. You know, even like drone photography, for example, you know, it's really important to see where the nursery is in terms of transport links. You know, especially when you start to get into maybe higher density cities where there's buses and trains and tubes and all the rest of it. So I think being able to give the parent an overview of the property. You know, we're all used to going on property search engines to look at properties, and you can make an informed decision about a house quite quickly without even having to see it, and that's what parents want. It's all good designing profiles that look really nice, but if you put an iPhone photo with a thumb over the corner of it, it doesn't look very nice. So yeah, so you know, we want to elevate the quality of that sort of digital media, and it's really easy to do now. You know, as you come down and have, you know, a sort of video tour as well. You know, I think that's really important to give parents that kind of virtual walkthrough. And what we also hear from parents is that what this does, on one hand, is tell them about the property, but actually it instills trust. That you're not hiding anything, this is our setting, this is how wonderful it is, and also we've gone to the effort of doing a video tour, we're digitally focused, this is how we run our nursery, we're forward thinking. Whereas if you go onto a nursery's website and there's no video, there's no photos, or the photos are poor, and contacting them and booking tour is all quite manual, then you assume that's how they run their nursery once you're in it as well. So I guess first impression, you know, from a digital perspective is really, really important. So
capture everything that you've captured here on a picture.
No.
You couldn't capture that because you've really gone into every part of the room, and just having one picture wouldn't give you the same feeling. Having a real blur around the nursery.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said before, this is never going to replace the physical tour. No. But it means that as a parent, when I go for the physical tour, I can focus on having a conversation with you rather than seeing all the rooms, because I've seen all the rooms already.
You can't see it all anyway in one go. It's like buying a house, isn't it?
Yeah.
You book a second or a third viewing.
Yeah.
Because you can't make up your mind. If you keep watching this over and over, like you said, when you go in, I know my child had autism. I know you've got that sandpit there that he's going to absolutely love, and it's going to be my focus. I want to know how we go interacting with the children now. So my focus has now changed from seeing everything to that one thing that's important to me, and that's how I want to know. How does that key worker interact if my son's going to be? If
you don't have to book tours and you don't have to go back and forth, and your tours are 20 minutes rather than 45 minutes, and your manager is costing you £35 an hour, then all of a sudden your managerial time saving and cost over a month is £300-400 for the sake of spending 50. So
it is very backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
It really is.
That is a really good question. You've come prepared. Well, I think it's always going to be a two-sided answer, isn't it? Because there's parents and there's nurseries. So I think for parents, the cost calculator is definitely something that's really, really valuable at that early stage. It's something that hasn't been as transparent as it maybe should have been in the sector, and I think, you know, we definitely see that as one of our most popular pages. Yeah, well, you will find nurseries, or some nurseries, some of the bigger groups, for example, will have their own calculator on their website, but that's only if you're looking at that nursery, you know, and a nursery group doesn't tend to have all the 4 or 5 nurseries that you're looking at. It'll all be... So actually, one of the things that we do with the calculator is when you're on board and you have your profile and then that links into your calculator page, we can then embed that in your website so that your parents are on your website rather than having come through Nuuri also are getting the benefit of using the calculator. So I think the calculator is what we're most proud of. And I think for nurseries, I think the tour booking is a big time saving. I think just the digitalization and that presence and feel and design of the profiles we're really proud of. You know, I think the feedback that we get a lot when we're at shows or having meetings with nursery is around the design of the profiles and just how user friendly it is. So everything that we build is very reactive. So we don't go and build what we think you want. We listen and we go, right, okay, so you got that problem, how can we help you solve it?
3, 2, 1, go!
So we've just finished finished a meeting with Stephen from Nuuri. It was a really productive meeting.
Very informative.
Yeah, it's really educational what he's doing. He spotted a problem as a parent and he wanted to solve that, and I actually think that he's really achieved that.
Everyone guessed right on the journey before about why he started, what his name was.
Oh, we guessed the name actually, didn't we? So I think Zach said that Nuuri stood for
Nursery.
Nursery.
But he said nurturing as well.
Nurture. And then
Maybe it could be his child's name,
Which it was, yeah.
and it was. So
And
I
it's a
said
mixture
that of all of those things all in one.
Yeah. And then I said that my husband's Arabic, and he, you know, it is an Arabic word, meaning
Bright, light,
That's right. It's quite a really nice word. So I love the branding. I love the simplicity. I love the colours. That was really good.
I love the colours, and I just think it's a brilliant concept because he, like you said, he's had a problem as a parent, and he's done something about it in a really constructive way.
And he's gave back to other parents
millions
and nurseries.
And I also think that, you know, in such a short space of time, what he's achieved is incredible. And I think we're going to see more from Nuuri. We're going to see a lot more of the site developed. There'll be a lot more features. You know, I know that they've got stuff in the pipeline which he was really excited about. And I just wish that there was something like that when my children were young. My children are older now. We never had anything like that. It's almost like the right move for the early years sector, and you can go on and compare and, you know, do they have a waiting list? Can I book a virtual tour? Can I have a little look around? It's so much information that you need when you're pregnant.